We're in Google Classroom. This is the assignment for your mask. You've created a mask already that symbolizes you. They all look fantastic. Now that it's complete, you're going to use Padlet to create a presentation explaining each of the symbols on your mask. You're going to turn in the link to your Padlet presentation on Google Classroom. Text written in Padlet will be incorporated into an essay that extends your explanations, but we'll be doing that one later. The essay will directions for how to run Padlet are in the video below. So in your Google Classroom, you will click on Padlet is the easiest way to create and collaborate in the world. When you log in, please do so using Google. So make sure you click on Log in with Google, the red box. Make sure that you are using your Clinton school account. Do not use any other accounts.
They're not a teacher, so they're not going to get that question, right?
Okay, when you've logged in, it takes you to your Padlet dashboard. What you want to do to create a new Padlet, go to the top right-hand corner of the menu and click on New Padlet. Now, what you can do is, if you've got your photograph taken, you can simply drag it from your Google Drive, drop it onto the screen. If you don't drag and drop the picture, one way to insert it is you double-click onto the background of Padlet. Now, your box will pop up, and you have icons here below. You can add an attachment. You can make a recording, a video. What we want to do in this case is we want to add a photo from your Google Drive. So click on the camera. We can post a link from the web, upload, or take a photo, but in this case we want to upload. Here also you can drag a file, or in this case I'm going to choose a file. When you save your photo, make sure that you know where you placed it on your computer or in your Google Drive. In this case, I had saved my photograph to my laptop, and it is saved under my documents in a folder called Mask Example. And here is the picture of my mask. Select it, click Open, and now the image is imported. Ask us the question, does it look good? Yes, click OK. All right, so now that we have the start of our Padlet, the next thing we want to do is go over to your menu, come down to Modify this Padlet. Looks like the little gearbox. Click on it. Now let's give it a title. What I'd like for you to do is give it your first name. So in this case, I'm just going to use mine. First name, Michelle Mask. I want you to give a brief description. What was the purpose of you guys learning this? Well, the purpose of this was for you to understand symbolism. Create a mask which uses symbols that represent. Okay. All right. Now another thing that we can do is we can change the background. Choose wallpaper. You can scroll through the different choices. When you're doing it, this needs to look appealing. So don't pick something that is busy and will distract from your photograph. So I would either use the current Padlet background or choose something that accents and makes your mask look nice. In this case, I'm going to use Blueprint. Okay, background looks good. Now we're ready to insert some text about our mask. To insert text or another box, double click. Now, the title of this, you have to write about each of the segments of your mask. The first one I'm going to talk about is element. This is a proper title, so it does need to be capitalized. In this case, the element that I chose is fire. Hit the return key, In this case, I want you to use bullet points. Start typing your text, then hit Control J, and that inserts your bullet points. Okay, this is my Padlet further along. As you can see, I've talked about my element. Over here, I've talked about my shape. I've gone ahead and started segments for my numbers, my directions, and my colors. Now, if you used an animal or a creature, you'd want to go ahead and insert a little Padlet square for that as well. I want to draw your attention to each of these segments and bullet points. So under each one, the first bullet point, you're going to refer to that symbol handout that we went over in class. The element that you pick, what does it symbolize typically in literature? In your second bullet point, you're going to give a brief explanation of what does it represent to you. Now, it may be something completely different from the literature handout, or it may be similar or the same thing. Either way, you need to tell me why does that symbol represent you. In the third bullet point, I want you to give me a brief explanation, no longer than this, about, 3 sentences would be great, explaining further an example of how that symbol has worked in your life. So for example, fire is commonly recognized in literature as a symbol of inspiration. That is from the handout. The second bullet point, for me, the flames of fire on my mask represent inspiring others. And here I'm going to give a specific example from an experience in my life relating to inspiration. One of the most challenging and rewarding things I have done was create and give a motivational seminar called 3E. Its purpose was to train art supply store owners and managers to motivate their employees to work harder and sell more products. The response to the seminar was positive, and many owners implemented the strategies I taught. This in return was inspiration for me and fueled the flames to keep motivating others. Over here in this box, I've done the same format. I've chosen the circle as my shape. I've talked about how the circle typically represents perfection as a symbol. Then I chose a basketball as my circle shape because it is one of the most important activities in my life. Of course, there's lots and lots of things I could talk about basketball in my life, but in this case, I chose one specific example. I think I really became passionate about playing basketball when I was in 7th grade and realized at basketball camp that I was a good ball player, and I became more confident. With that confidence, I became a stronger player, which led to being a starting member of the varsity team in 9th grade. You'll do the same format for your directions, your numbers, your colors, and then, of course, if you chose an animal or creature, you would do the same with that. Okay, once you've finished your Padlet, you need to load your link to your Padlet in Google Classroom. One of the many ways that you can get the link is to come over here to Share and Export. Click on the Share Export button. In the Share Export button, you could choose the Facebook link, the Twitter link, any of these links up here. Choose one, click on it. When the window pops up, what you're going to do is do not choose the title of your Padlet. Select only the link. And then you can right-click and choose Copy, or on your keyboard, use Control-C. I recommend that you be using keyboard control shortcuts because it makes things go faster. Once you've done that, go back to Google Classroom and then share your link with me. If you have any questions or need further assistance, please make sure you come and see me. Good luck, and I look forward to reading about your masks.